Saturday Night Live has launched the careers of countless comedic talents. Some former cast members go on to become superstars, but for these performers, leaving SNL didn't amount to fame and fortune. Whitney Brown was hired as a writer for Saturday Night Live in 1985 and eventually established an on-air presence in a recurring weekend update segment called The Big Picture. After exiting SNL in 1991, he published The Big Picture, a book collecting all his weekend update commentaries. In 1995, Brown signed on as writer for Exit 57, a short-lived sketch comedy show for Comedy Central, with a cast that included future stars Stephen Colbert and Amy Sedaris. In 1996, he joined the writing staff of another Comedy Central series, the Craig Kilborn-hosted The Daily Show, on which he also appeared as an on-air commentator. He stuck around until 1998, leaving before Jon Stewart took over as new host. Brown eventually left New York and moved to Austin, Texas. In 2011, he married singer-songwriter Carolyn Wonderland. A 2022 profile on the couple in the Austin Chronicle documented his quiet life in Texas, which involved a lot more yard work than he did during his SNL days. Victoria Jackson was a member of the Saturday Night Live cast for 6 seasons, exiting in 1992. In the years after, she continued to appear regularly in movies and TV shows. Over time, however, those roles became fewer and farther between. By the mid-2010s, Jackson's TV appearances were less about comedy and more about her extreme right-wing political views. In fact, she made headlines during a 2015 appearance on Newsmax for remarks about President Barack Obama.
He's an Islamic jihadist?
Jackson made further news in 2023 when she discussed an upcoming Pride event during a town meeting in Franklin, Tennessee. She declared, "God hates sodomy. He hates homosexuality." These days, Jackson still performs in comedy clubs, albeit not as frequently as she had before. Jackson told the Star Tribune in 2022, "I'm sort of retired, but I want to keep my toes in comedy and keep my brain sharp." Terry Sweeney made Saturday Night Live history as the show's first openly gay cast member. He appeared during the 1985 to 1986 season, but left the show after that one season. Sweeney continued to appear in a handful of film and television roles after that, including a 1995 guest spot on Seinfeld. However, Sweeney was far busier behind the scenes. Prior to becoming an SNL cast member, he'd worked on the show as a writer, and from 1997 until 2000, he was on the writing staff of Mad TV. In 2015, Sweeney became an author with the publication of his first book, a memoir titled Irritable Bowels and the People Who Give You Them. Don Novello is responsible for one of the longest-running Saturday Night Live characters ever, Father Guido Sarducci, gossip columnist for the Vatican newspaper. The faux priest first began making regular appearances on Weekend Update in the 3rd season of the show, and continued appearing sporadically for nearly 20 years after that. He also acted in non-Sarducci roles, such as the films Just One Night and Factory Girl. In a 2020 interview with The Wise Guys Show, Novello revealed that he came up with the idea for Father Guido Sarducci after meeting, well, a Maltese Jesuit who was a heavy smoker.
And I kind of copied that after him.
And Risley was cast in the infamous 1980 to 1981 season of Saturday Night Live, the first after the exit of the original cast, and without Lorne Michaels as producer. That SNL season remains its most critically reviled, and Risley was among the many cast members shown the door when it ended. After SNL, Risley returned to theater, appearing in the Broadway hit Come Back to the Five and Dime Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean. She continued acting on screen as well and appeared as a supporting player in a string of movies, including Honky Tonk Freeway and Rich and Famous. Her final screen credit was in 1993 for the TV movie Jericho Fever. Although her screen credits may have thinned out, Risley has appeared in more than 30 theatrical performances in various parts of the US, according to Vulture. Throughout the years, she's also had another focus, running her own acting school. Risley opened the Studio for Actors in Tucson, Arizona in 1984. According to Yelp, however, the school has since closed. Prior to becoming a Saturday Night Live cast member in 1984, Pamela Stephenson was well known for appearing on the British sketch series Not the 9 O'Clock News. The New Zealand-born actor only stayed with SNL for a single season before returning to the UK to resume her acting career. In the late 1980s, she appeared in various TV series and movies. In 1989, she married Scottish comedian Billy Connolly and would later welcome 3 daughters. During this period, Stephenson stepped away from Hollywood to focus on an entirely different passion, psychotherapy. In 1994, she established her own psychotherapy practice in Beverly Hills, emphasizing sex therapy. She also served as an adjunct professor at the California Graduate Institute. Dr. Stephenson is also an author, writing a biography of her husband titled Billy and another focused on psychology called Head Case. Her book on human sexuality, sex life was published in 2011. Brooks Wheelan joined the Saturday Night Live cast in 2013, one of 6 additions that season. According to Wheelan, his favorite sketch was Critter Control, in which he played an exterminator dealing with possums in a boardroom air duct.
Oh, there's 2 of them in there. One's alive and one's dead. The alive one's crying over the dead one's body.
The following year, he was let go. While speaking with The Wrap about his firing, Wheelan said, "As soon as I was hired, I was like, well, I'm gonna get fired. I was totally mentally prepared to get fired. So when I did get fired, I was like, yeah, that adds up." After SNL, Wheelan continued acting, appearing in TV series like AP Bio. However, his primary focus has remained stand-up comedy, which was what led him to being hired by SNL in the first place. By 2015, Wheelan's short stint on SNL was well behind him. He said in an interview with Indie Star, "I mean, I'm not ashamed of it, but I don't want it to define my comedy at all. It was cool that I did it, but I'm definitely not looking back on it." In 1991, Ellen Cleghorne was tapped for a spot on Saturday Night Live, where she remained until 1995. After leaving the show, she landed her own sitcom called Cleghorne. After the series' quick cancellation, Cleghorne spent the next few years focused on her acting career. During that time, she appeared in several films, including Adam Sandler's Little Nicky. During the 2000s, Cleghorne enrolled in New York University and went to earn a PhD in performance studies. She put that degree to use by teaching at Graceland University in Iowa. Speaking with VH1 in 2017, Cleghorne mused about a return to acting. "I really do want to do it. I've done a little stand-up. I would do stand-up again. I want to do more of it all, but it's a little bit scary." Cleghorne did successfully venture back into acting after that, appearing in AKA Wyatt Cenac and in a few episodes of That Damn Michael Che. For this new chapter, Cleghorne said she was relying on what she learned while completing her PhD. She told Slate, "Performance studies taught me to look at something and see one thing in everything. That gives you an opportunity, as there's a never-ending amount of things you can write about or write a sketch about. We're all in resistance to something, and that's what comedy is." Matthew Laurance was a featured player in the disastrous 1980 season of Saturday Night Live. After appearing in just 9 episodes, Laurance was fired, along with most of his co-stars. Laurance landed on his feet, though. He went on to appear in the films Eddie and the Cruisers, Streets of Fire, and St. Elmo's Fire. In 1987, he landed the starring role in TV sitcom Duet, which ran for 2 seasons. During the 1990s, he held the recurring role of dentist Mel Silver in Beverly Hills 90210, ultimately appearing in more than 30 episodes.
It was supposed to be 1 episode, and it turned into 9 years.
Despite that apparent success, Laurance was dissatisfied. While participating in a celebrity golf tournament in 1999, he befriended legendary basketball coach Mike Coach K. Krzyzewski of Duke University. Coach K encouraged him to pursue a new career within the world of sports. That led to 10 years as the voice of the Duke Blue Devils basketball team. In 2009, Laurance left Duke for a sports radio gig in Kentucky. Patrick Weathers was a part of the 1980 to 81 cast of Saturday Night Live, but just barely. He appeared in just 10 episodes, most notably in a sketch in which he played Bob Dylan. Speaking about his brief tenure with the show in a 2003 interview with Vulture, Weathers admitted the deck was stacked against the cast. He told the outlet, "It was a really bad season. We were trying to replace these icons, these gods. Nothing we could do was going to be good enough." He went on to appear on Broadway in Rock and Roll the first 5,000 years. After landing a few acting roles on shows like Murphy Brown, he settled in New Orleans, where he pursued a career in music. Meanwhile, he's also the owner of a Big Easy art gallery called Gallery Patrick. Speaking with HuffPost in 2017, Weathers waxed philosophical about his post-SNL life, saying, "Look, everything works out the way it should be. I'm still working. A lot of them aren't. I'm not dead. A lot of them are." He also shared his rather blunt impression of being best remembered for his short stint on the worst season of SNL, saying, "It's been an annoyance." Luke Null was among the newbies added to the Saturday Night Live cast in 2017. However, Null didn't last long, exiting after just 1 season as a featured player. Null was discovered by SNL for his music-based stand-up comedy and returned to the stage after being fired. In the years after his stint on SNL, Null headlined shows all over the country, from Minneapolis to Philadelphia. Looking back at his single season, Null did not have particularly fond memories of the experience. He told Vulture, "I had one season, and you definitely have a lot of questions looking back. Did I do something wrong? Was I not writing good enough stuff? Honestly, looking back, knowing how the show works, the mechanisms and the politics and its energy, it's a very tense and stressful place." Yvonne Hudson holds the distinction of being the first Black female cast member on Saturday Night Live. She was a featured player during the disastrous 6th season that aired in 1980 and 1981. According to her skimpy IMDb profile, Hudson appeared in 31 episodes, beginning in the 3rd season and extending to the 10th. Her only other credit is in the 1985 TV special Motown Returns to the Apollo, not as an actor, but as a production assistant. After that, noted Vulture, Hudson appeared to have disappeared, with no information about her able to be found. In an interview with HuffPost, former SNL cast member Patrick Weathers shared his own recollection of how she came to be part of the cast. He told the outlet, "And they had made Yvonne Hudson. She was a former receptionist. They had made her a featured player, but she was really like an extra. They just kind of gave her a title, a link maybe to the original cast."